What's wrong with Jalen Suggs? Jalen Suggs is a bust. The Magic were wrong about Jalen Suggs. Suggs is the biggest regret of the 2021 draft. These are the titles of some of the most viewed videos about Jalen Suggs on YouTube. It's not just on YouTube. A good chunk of content about Jalen Suggs from non-Magic fans, whether it's a video, podcast, blog, article, is negative about the 21-year-old Minnesotan. And this hasn't sat well with me for a long time now. Yes, I'm aware that Suggs did not meet expectations that many had of him as a 5th overall draft pick. He was way more of a project on offense than expected. If you actually watched some of his clips at Gonzaga, then you could have predicted, him struggling to adapt to the speed of the NBA and NBA length. I broke it all down in the first in-depth video I made of him last summer in my video titled Removing All Doubts About Jalen Suggs' Fit with the Magic Backcourt. In that video, I explained why his shot was still a work in progress and his playmaking off pick and rolls still needs to be improved. But Suggs being far from a finished product should not mean that he's a bust already and doesn't have what it takes to ever become an impactful player. It's just going to take longer than expected. Magic fans have proper context as to why he struggled as a rookie, but NBA fans in general don't, and it's unfairly created a common belief that Suggs is already a lost cause. Well, in this video, I'm going to debunk that notion and basically bat for a guy. It seems like there's 6 or 7 negative videos about Suggs to 1 positive one on YouTube. Shout out to OG Magic content creator Philip Rossman-Wright over at Locked On Magic for making one recently, but yeah, I'm sure Suggs, growing up in the social media era, has searched his name numerous times on YouTube and is probably discouraged about all the negative content about him on the platform. As a Magic content creator primarily on YouTube, I can't have that. You see, Suggs is a good person who has embraced Orlando as his home. He's already involved heavily in the community and has repped the Magic both on and off the court with pride despite some fans turning on him already. I couldn't tolerate all the Suggs disrespect, so I took the initiative to make a positive Jalen Suggs video where I'll provide context as to why he struggled, why he still has the potential of being an impactful guard, all without coming across as a delusional homer. I want to take the stance for Jalen and hopefully convince some doubters to, hold off selling some of their Suggs stocks prematurely. So let's get straight into the video. Alright, the main justification for Suggs' struggles as a rookie could be simply down to injuries. I know injuries are a cop-out excuse, but trust me, Suggs went through hell last season. He missed a total of 34 games due to injuries. He never got time to get into a rhythm because a random injury usually popped up, which then stalled his on-court development and set him back. To outline his already extensive NBA injury history, we'll have to go way back to Summer League 2021 when Suggs had to be shut down after spraining his thumb. Now, I know it was just Summer League, but Suggs looked dominant in the 2 games that he played in. His off-the-dribble pull-up shooting looked just as good as it did at Gonzaga. I don't know if the injury was more serious than a sprain. Maybe it was a hidden fracture because he hasn't looked as comfortable shooting off-the-dribble or shooting in general since then. Now, moving on to his first month in NBA, it was just brutal as his right ankle issues began when he sprained it on November 16th. He then proceeded to suffer a right quad contusion when he returned just 5 days later. To finish off his nightmare start to his career, Suggs fractured his right finger on November 29th, which then forced him to miss 20 games. Oh, he also had to deal with a severe illness in between all this as well. Now, surprisingly, he posted his best stretch of stats after coming back from his first ankle sprain. The week that he took off was enough for him to regroup, study some film, and it slowed the game down for him a bit. When he came back, his assist-to-turnover ratio looked better, and so did his shooting percentages. Just when he was starting to look comfortable, he fractured his thumb like I said, and yeah, I think that fractured thumb injury bothered him even after his return in February and could be a legit excuse for his shooting woes throughout the season. It's hard to smoothly push off with the other fingers if your thumb isn't gripping on properly to the ball. I'm not saying that he's a dead-eye shooter with a healthy shooting hand, but he's not a 21% three-point shooter, like come on. His form is not broken and his release is more than fine right now. I honestly think that the high 20s to low 30s is more where Suggs should be at as a shooter when he's healthy. Going back to his ankle injury, I totally forgot that he first injured it way back in November. It's not far-fetched to believe that it affected his explosiveness. He still got to the rim whenever he wanted, but you could tell that he still had another notch in his first step that he couldn't access due to his bum right ankle. I think his explosive Gonzaga tape proves this. He re-aggravated his right ankle injury in March and it worsened to the point where it needed to be operated on right after the season ended. This post by DirtTube on Twitter popped up conveniently as I was recording this video, and it's true. His ankle definitely impacted his shiftiness. Another note, one thing that Suggs needs to fix is that he's sometimes too upright when he's attacking the rim or maneuvering around defenders. A simple fix like that could go a long way. And on the topic of attacking the rim, that in itself is a reason to believe in Suggs' future as an offensive threat. After initially struggling in his first month adjusting to the speed of the game and trying to overcome the spacing issues that the Magic roster presented, Suggs got to the rim seemingly at will from November onwards. According to Basketball Reference, Suggs ranked in the 93rd percentile in rim shot creation with a rating of plus 1.3. He shot 55% at the rim, which was decent. For reference, players that Suggs should look up to like Jrue Holiday, DeJounte Murray, and Marcus Smart all conveniently shot 59% from less than 5 feet last season. From his January 14th return onwards, Suggs shot nearly 57% at the rim, an improvement to what he shot before, which was only 51%. Now, I have to point out that Suggs shooting so well at the rim could be a little bit deceiving because he scored on a lot of easy cuts towards the basket last season. His scoring efficiency strictly off drives needs to improve, but that's the easy part. I think that will improve with his work ethic. The fact that he can get to the rim despite having weak handles is encouraging. Sure, his handles need tightening up, but he still has some decent combo moves off the dribble, like the semi-jab step, hezzy in and out pull up right here. His step back and side step threes all look smooth, but he needs to just knock them down. The important thing is that he can create separation at least. Specifically at the rim, what will help Suggs improve is, adding some finesse moves to get around defenders at the rim. He relies too much on his strength and athleticism to finish through defenders right now. He'll attack them head on at full speed. In transition, he loves to curve the ball to his side and attack like a running back, but I remember Stephon Marbury used to do that a lot, and they're very similar physique-wise, and I think he'll learn a lot if he just watches some Suns and early Knicks Marbury clips. Some positive signs right now is that Suggs already has some crossover moves in his bag. He loves to push cross, especially in transition. Also, this change of pace crossover right here. I'm just pointing out these moves just to prove that Suggs actually has a bag and is not just a stiff point guard who just barrels through defenders using his size and athleticism. I pointed out earlier that he loves to do that, but there is still potential to work with in terms of his ability to attack the rim off the dribble. Suggs also has this move where he'll stop at the dime to shoot a turnaround fadeaway near the paint if the paint is clogged up, like in this clip right here. Additionally, Suggs should bring back his floater game that he displayed in college but failed to translate it into his rookie season. He has it in his arsenal, but it's down to a confidence thing, I guess. Suggs got to the line nearly 4 times a game after his return and posted a solid free throw rate of .298. It's a very good sign when a player knows how to get to the line to somewhat offset his subpar shooting. A good example of this is Jimmy Butler. Moving along, his vision and natural playmaking instincts gives us hope he could be more than just a Marcus Smart type player who, while being a great defender, is not a good natural playmaker and a creator off the dribble. Suggs' stat might seem underwhelming, 25 assist percentage, 4 assists to 3 turnovers, but again, I'm here to provide some context. Suggs struggled making quick split-second decisions off drives during his first month, but adapted well once he came back from his hand fracture. His overall playmaking stats would have looked much better if he just throw away his first 21 games of his career. During that stretch in the start, he only averaged 3 assists to 3 turnovers with a dreadful assist percentage of 20. He was also playing off the ball to Cole Anthony, who got off to a scorching start to the season instead of running the show, and that was an adjustment on top of getting used to the speed of the NBA. However, in his return in January 14th to the time he re-injured his ankle on March 4th, Suggs had a decent assist percentage of 29%, which ranked up there with Cade Cunningham and De'Aaron Fox. He looked much more calm with the ball and was making smart reads. He also had more time with the ball instead of playing off the ball with Cole Anthony, which was also a huge plus. During this stretch, Suggs averaged 5.3 assists per game to 3 turnovers. For reference, his point guard draft rival Cade Cunningham averaged 5.8 assists to 3.7 turnovers in the same stretch of the second half of the season from January 14 onwards. Suggs showed vast improvements in his half-court decision-making, and therefore we should look at his stats from his January 14th return onwards as proof of his potential as a primary playmaking option and a hint of what we can expect next season. Now, I have to address his struggles from shooting from beyond the arc. There's no getting around the fact that shooting 21% from 3 on high volume is just not going to cut it. It should be bad enough to completely write him off from ever being a decent shooter, right? Well, not so fast. Let's try to somehow extract some hope out of his shooting struggles. First off, I believe that his shooting could be fixed just by tweaking his form a bit. His low release point could be a hindrance, and sometimes he loses balance when squaring up. Additionally, I don't like how he doesn't have a set landing routine, meaning that he lands on one foot at times, shooting, and even sometimes without being contested. The optimistic part about his form is that his release is fine and he stopped throwing up some ugly looking threes that he was doing early on in the season. Alright, so what if he doesn't change his shooting form? Then the biggest reason to believe in Suggs improving his long range shooting is his steady free throw stroke. And that's a good indication that his shooting mechanics are sound enough and it's just a matter of time and repetition at the gym until he extends his range. He shot 77% from the line while also making 28 of his final 34 free throws of the season. His free throw mechanics are good and his makes are usually pure. But what about his off the dribble shooting? Well, it's still up in the air for me. What's bizarre is that he shot 40% on pull-up threes in the 97th percentile at Gonzaga, but only 24% as a rookie. I mean, just look at these makes. He went 5 of 5 off the dribble against Iowa from this game in this clip right here. This just doesn't leave your game. He has the ability. It's not like it's a part of the game that's completely foreign to him. It makes you wonder if injuries played a part in the shooting being so low. Well, I believe so, and his percentages were influenced by two factors: injury, like I said, and shot selection. Injuring both his hands in his first season did not help. Additionally, Suggs loved to take deep threes off the catch or step into them on the fast break. He was also taking step backs off the dribble from way beyond 30 feet and late shot clock heaves off the catch. His percentages should increase through simplifying his shot selection. It's clear that Jalen is a product of the Steph Curry generation, but that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, those factors are not excuses for his poor shooting, but they might have brought down his percentages 5 to 10 percentage points because, like I said earlier, there's no way that he's just a 21% three-point shooter. He'll never be a 40% three-point shooter, but if he can improve to at least 35% at his peak, then that would be good enough to open up everything else in his game. Add that to his defense and his playmaking, then what you'll get is a productive guard on a contending team. He also missed a lot of open shots last season, and that's the easiest part to improve on, and I believe that he eventually will. Why am I so confident that Jalen Suggs will improve on his weaknesses? Simple. He has that dog in him. But honestly, his work ethic is the biggest reason to believe in his potential. It's what will separate him from the likes of Gary Payton, Chris Dunn, Frank Ntilikina, who were all similar two-way point guard prospects that failed to improve on their games. Suggs' main swing skills right now are his shooting and handles, and those areas can be improved with hard work and dedication. It's easier said than done, but players with elite work ethic and the will to be great are the ones who actually improve on their weaknesses. Now I'm going to list some players who overcame their flaws and became stars through sheer determination. Suggs will need to adopt their elite mindset in order to overcome his. Players such as Kawhi Leonard, who is the extreme example of this, but also fringe all-stars like Jimmy Butler, Jaylen Brown, DeMar DeRozan, DeJounte Murray, Darius Garland, Jamal Murray, Jordan Poole, etc. And I want to point out that I'm not comparing Jalen's game to any of them. It's more of a comparison of their personality traits. Jimmy Butler never became a good shooter from downtown, but he still became a savant at attacking angles to drive and to get to the line. He also became an elite finisher around the rim. Jaylen Brown had the same weaknesses to his game that Suggs has right now when he was a rookie. Even though he still needs to perfect his handles, it's still a drastic improvement from what it was when he was a rookie. Jordan Poole was one of the worst guards, if not the worst guard, in the league as a rookie. Check out the side-by-side comparison with Suggs and tell me that this doesn't give you at least some hope. Nobody thought that Poole would become an efficient 3-level scorer on a championship-level team. If that's not enough to convince you, then here's a comparison with Darius Garland when he was a rookie. Keep in mind that Darius Garland was more polished as a scorer. His offensive stats might seem better, but since he was touted as a scoring guard, his stats were still extremely poor and really alarming. But now, 3 years later, Garland has silenced all of his doubters and is now an all-star. Jamal Murray, who was drafted high because of his 3-level scoring potential, failed to make a single field goal in his first 4 games. He failed to average 10 points per game and just managed to shoot 40% from the field. Hell, even arguably the greatest guard defender of all time, Gary Payton, took 3 years to establish himself as a good player. Imagine how much hate GP would have gotten if social media was around when he was a rookie and a sophomore. And this is why we need to stay patient with guards and not put too much importance in their rookie year production when forecasting what they could be in the future. Each of these players gradually improved every part of the game each offseason until they overachieved and maximized every ounce of their talent. Suggs will need to follow their model because they are outliers because of their work ethic and love for the game. And the good thing with Suggs is that unlike most of the players that I just listed, Suggs has natural athleticism and pretty much more athletic than all of them except DeMar and Kawhi. From what I know about Jalen Suggs from the outside looking in, I feel that he has a work ethic to improve on his weaknesses. A side note, he'll also need some veterans to guide him, but that's a topic again for another video. But yeah, I hope that Suggs puts in the work and improves my assumption of him to be correct. Alright, to finish off, we can't talk about being optimistic about Suggs' future as a really good winning player without bringing up his defense. Suggs is one of the best defensive guard prospects that I've ever seen. Both the eye test and the stats support my claim. Let's start with some eye test proof of his defensive expertise. I can say with confidence that his on-ball defense is already elite with the combination of his strength, sharp positioning awareness, fast reaction time, and quick hands. Jalen is always active, sometimes to a fault due to the risk of a potential injury, both on and off the ball. He fights off screens off the ball and is very shifty when defending on the ball. According to Second Spectrum, opponents only managed to blow past Suggs just 21% of the time he was guarding them. On top of all that, Suggs has advanced defensive instincts and timing. He always makes smart rotations in order to prevent easy baskets, as you can see right here. And let's not stop there. The kid can even defend bigs on post-ups like he did against Kevin Love right here. And I also love this help side block from behind on Dwight. Let's pull out some stats to back up all of this. For a young team battling injuries all season, the Magic posted an impressive defensive rating of 107.8 whenever Suggs was on the floor. To put that into perspective, a defensive rating of 107.8 would have ranked 4th best in the NBA. Orlando's defensive rating was tied for 10th after Suggs' return in January until his last game, and 3rd best from the All-Star break until his last game. Digging even more into his individual defensive metrics, Suggs had the best defensive Raptor amongst all rookies and 17th in the league overall. His defensive on-off was nearly +4, defensive win shares of 1.3, which is more than respectable for a rookie on a losing team. Per Synergy Sports, Suggs was a 90th percentile caliber on-ball defender in both pick and roll and ISO situations. The craziest stat of all is that, as a rookie, Suggs ranked 28th in the entire league in defensive EPM. The only rookie above him was Evan Mobley. Furthermore, he's just a high-energy player who hustles hard and simply makes winning plays. He led the Magic in deflections per game and came in 2nd in steals per game and charges drawn. Alright, to finish off, heading into his rookie season, Jalen Suggs was billed as a prospect who could change your team's culture overnight and also be in contention for Rookie of the Year honors. He fell way short of expectations, but maybe the fan base was anticipating a little bit too much from a rookie point guard who was way more raw of a prospect than a lot of draft experts had assumed. Despite his poor offensive stats, Jalen Suggs showed enough flashes in his game to assure Magic fans that he'll be just fine. He has the athleticism, leadership qualities, and all the intangibles that you want in a core piece. He's already a top-tier defensive guard. He also got to the rim at will, was unstoppable on the fast break, and drastically improved as a playmaker from his first rookie game to his last. The fact that he can impact the game without shooting well or needing the ball in his hands is a good indicator of his basketball IQ and willingness to do whatever it takes for his team to win. His weaknesses are reversible with hard work, and let's not forget that he was a legit top prospect in football in high school. His commitment to basketball sort of had to be split with football, but now he has all the time to develop in the areas that he couldn't sharpen due to football. We should expect slow, gradual improvement, maybe shooting 30% from 3 next year and then hopefully 35% on good volume by his 3rd and 4th season. Good example is Jrue Holiday, who slowly improved every season until he finally took the leap in his 4th season. Even if Suggs turns out to be an average player on offense, his foreseeable potential as a first-team all-defensive player should be enough for Suggs to establish himself as a core piece moving forward. And this should have Magic fans feeling optimistic about Suggs instead of feeling down after a tough rookie season. Well, that's the end of the video. I hope it was enough to convert some of Suggs' biggest critics into believers. Jalen deserves at least a couple of more positive videos about him online, and we need to support the kid because he still has the potential of being special, especially on defense. If this video was informative and brought some value to you, then please click the like button and share this video to those who aren't aware of this channel and to those who are still down on Suggs. And also please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because it'll motivate me to continue to make free Orlando Magic content for you guys. Thanks for all the love, look out for more videos dropping real soon, and peace.